Call this meeting, West Branch City Council, order, roll call, please.
Crowner.
Here.
Raleigh.
Here.
Hightmeyer.
Here.
Lees.
Here.
Waterman.
Here.
Need to perfect and approve the agenda.
Forward.
There's a motion with support. Item number 5 and 6, we're just gonna combine tonight under, one resolution, basically, or 2 resolutions, but it's the same thing. Roll call.
Raleigh.
Aye.
Hightmeyer.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Motion carried. Consent agenda.
Motion to approve is presented.
Support.
Motion with support to approve consent agenda items 1 through 8, which are the minutes from the regular city council meeting on October 18th. Accept Barney Pate's resignation from the fire department, approve payment to Mississippi Valley Pump, approve a payment to Lynch Dallas, approve payment to Quad City Analytical Services, approve payment to USA Blue Book, approve payment to Iowa Municipal Workers' Compensation, and approve the claims list as presented in the amount of $112,302.27. Any discussion? Roll call.
Hightmeyer.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Raleigh.
Aye.
Motion carried. Dan, what you got going on?
The budget stuff got sent out to the department heads today. They're supposed to get me their request by December 1st and go from there. Of course, we never know how much money's coming in until much later in the process, but kind of get some, at least thinking what people need, and as well as if council has any big projects they want to do next year, they should also let me know at some point, and we'll see what we can do about that. But I think we're about project out for the moment. We got a lot going on, so.
Anybody have anything for Dan? Randy?
I have a couple things. Things are progressing really well on Gear Avenue. All the street patching, the concrete patching was taken care of today. The asphalt contractor's supposed to be back in on Monday to start putting an overlay on. My recommendation is gonna be on that project, when they get the east half overlaid, that we suspend that project until next spring so that we don't take a chance. We're getting late enough in the season, I would hate to see us get the milling done out there and then not have the street completed going into winter. So I would recommend we wait and continue that in the spring. The work's continuing down on Broadway Street. It's been horrible with all the utility conflicts we've had there for a while. It seemed like every day we had a new conflict. The sub's been down there virtually every day trying to deal with everything. Mike Nelson made a very large pour today. They're gonna do some forming tomorrow, make another pour on Friday, and then continue pouring next week. The goal is to get that taken care of as quickly as possible, and at this point, I would recommend that once we get all the concrete put back in down there, that we do something similar to what Burlington's done and put some asphalt in on the north end by Ritter's Drive so we can have that open throughout the winter. I would hate to take a chance and tear out more concrete and then the weather turns bad and we don't get it poured back. It's up to you folks what you want to do, but that's my recommendation there. And on the 2 corners that we have work going on, the contractor was hoping to pour this afternoon to finish up Ruthella, but I don't think the weather helped very much on that. I anticipate that being poured tomorrow, which would finish that up, and then they're gonna move over to Kimberly and get that taken care of. So there's quite a bit going on right now, and things are moving along. That's all I have.
On, just a question on the Gear Avenue, Randy, are we gonna have to put striping down?
I think we'll have to do some because there's nothing over there. I haven't talked to our inspector about that yet, but I would anticipate we'll have to put some sort of temporary striping down.
I think we need to do what you recommend. I don't wanna get caught with, street be tore out and not be able to, especially on Broadway, and not
Right.
come back in and be able to put anything in there. That'd be one mess. And I think we're already taking some flack from businesses up there right now, which, you know, I guess we continue to keep getting the flack. We can always go back and say, well, you know, project isn't being assessed to you right now. But we could look at that one of these days.
You know, and on that note, Ritter's, if we start that in the spring, they just assumed we didn't start that back in the spring, that we'd put that off a little bit further into the summer, because they do 80% of their business in March, April, and May, and they don't want anything closed up during that time. We'll have to, when it gets back to that time, we'll have to talk about that again and how we want to handle that, but.
The only reason to handle it is just let him know to tell Randy when he's ready. And it's slowing down at that time, and that'd be his choice. That's,
I just told them that I would pass that along to make sure we all heard that, so.
You know, we also have to work with the contractor though, too.
That's true.
So, what's the rest of you think?
oh, I'm fine with it.
I was really waiting, I thought maybe our engineer was gonna talk about these street projects tonight or something.
Well, Steve can give you an update here, if you want to, Steve.
Randy did a pretty good job covering everything I was briefed on before I came here. I guess the only other thing, I was exactly where Randy's coming from on the pulling the plug on Broadway now. I would have suggested that we wait until this phase gets done and almost open, and then meeting between you, us, and the contractor, and just make the decision then. And maybe you decide then not to do it. It's just so hard to tell what the weather's gonna do. But I also understand the risk that if you take out the next section and you don't get it poured and the weather turns real bad, that's gonna be unacceptable for sure. So whether you pull it now, pull the plug now, or do what I suggest and you pull it 2 weeks later, I don't know if it makes any difference.
But
How big of a gap is there gonna be between the two sections, between the new and the old? Is that gonna be like a traffic hazard, or?
Matt said the next phase is 250, 300 feet. It's like less than a block.
Okay. Yeah, okay, I'm thinking the other.
You switch streets.
I'm switching streets, yeah. I'm thinking that there's gonna be a gap. I'm thinking we're doing one lane at a time, no, but we're going both lanes and then stop. Yeah. Yeah, I just soon stop it.
Do we have a date when they really think they're gonna be done? Down there on Broadway?
I believe their contract completion date was November 15th. However, with all the utilities that they've run into, with the rise to the contractor, I'm not sure you can really hold the contractor to that date because of what he's run into and what he found. I mean, it was out of his control.
And it's these utilities that's a problem of why, when we sat here, and it's none of these people in this room's fault, but when we sat here 2 weeks ago, we were told that on Friday or at the latest Monday, they was gonna probably start pouring cement. And then suddenly miraculously today, they started pouring cement on that job, almost 2 weeks from when we were told. So I'm just worried about, you know, is that all because of those utilities, you think?
I think so.
I don't know about that discussion. I know Matt came to me, today's Wednesday, it must have been Monday of this week, with a difficult decision down there with a conflict between a storm sewer and a duct bank with telephone lines, which happened to be a steel pipe full of telephone lines. Normally telephone lines, well, you can stretch and lower them, raise them, and get your pipe under there. But if telephone lines themselves are in a steel pipe, you can't do that. And I don't know when that was discovered, that they were actually in a duct bank and not just run loose in the ground. But I know that was just an issue that popped up as late as Monday.
on Melville and Ruth Ellen, they'll all be done. The driveways utilities and everything will be
Yes.
fully cemented?
Yes.
Okay. And Melville's because of the same issue?
There was there was two gas services that were in conflict there, and Alliant took care of those. So,
Finally.
yeah, but, and I don't want to be critical of them because they have a lot going on also, but there's just so much in the ground anymore that, and unfortunately, when the engineers call in their locates for surveys, a lot of the utilities don't come out and locate for survey work.
And then do we put this all back on GPS? Do we know where it's at? If there's any incidents in the future?
We don't have that capability on, we just have our utilities on GIS.
Okay. That's what I meant, GIS, I'm sorry.
When they do that other half of Broadway next year, are they gonna have a lot less utility problems? I mean, they foresee, or, I mean, not compared to what it is down there?
I think it'll be a lot better, Royce, because you can see where all the flags and stuff are down there right now, and they're outside of where the street is. Down in that intersection, there was just so much stuff, and I mean, there was even a conflict with our traffic signals down there that nobody realized was gonna be an issue. So last week, we were down there working with the contractor and with the subcontractor, trying to relocate our manhole and the wires to get out of their way so they could complete their work. So I've been a part of a lot of projects, and I've never seen anything quite like this.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, anything else? Jess?
I just have a couple things. I did Alice training up at the school yesterday for 6th through 12th grade. That is the alert, lockdown, inform, counter, evacuate training that all schools have been going through. It went very well. It was an auditorium style that I did presentation. In the next couple weeks, we're going to start going from just some training with the students and faculty, and it's just training that unfortunately it's something that we have to do now with our kids and our staff. Our schools are very safe. Assistant Principal Mike Jones looked it up, and it was 0.0001% that a school will be targeted or attacked or anything like that, but you always have to train to anything that may happen. I'm also meeting with GE next Thursday. They have a new person in charge over there about safety, and he wants to sit down with myself and Chief Ryan with the fire department. They moved a bunch of chemicals and equipment around over there, so they just want to review it with the police department and the fire department. So we will be doing that next Thursday. And that's all I have. Oh, one other thing is we got the new body cameras in. They sync up very well with the in-car cameras, and today was the first day we put them in service, and so far they're working pretty good with syncing up with our in-car cameras. So that's all I have.
Okay. Anybody have anything for Jess? Sean?
Love this time of year. Just a furnace firing up, blowing smoke out, or blowing exhaust and with the humidity. They thought it was on
Smoke
fire.
detector off, huh?
The church up there, so. On the building side, we met today, went over some sign code changes, just some updates, working out pretty good. We've got some clear definitions on a lot of things that'll really help in the future. Got a couple inspections coming next week for liquor licenses that I think will be on the following agenda. And then I'm about ready to start with the rental inspections, catching up for the year, getting ready to move into next year. On the fire side, worked out a deal with SCC where we're storing their air cascade trailer that's used to fill SCBA bottles at scenes. For years, they've had it out there in all kinds of climate conditions, which isn't the best thing for that type of system. The arrangement is we'll store it at the fire station and help keep it filled up, and they're allowing us to use it whenever we need to for any emergencies. So I think overall it's a really good deal for not just the community, but for the county on a whole. And then on top of that, I just wanted to compliment Ed Parker. He's the firearms instructor now for the police department, took over for me. I'm still helping with the rifles, but Ed did a great job the other night up at the range. Had some qualification courses and they had some tactical courses. Really got the guys moving, and through his work with them, a lot of them have really improved their capabilities. So I'm really impressed with what he's been capable to do.
Anything for Sean?
Yeah, right quick. Is that our old car that's sitting
Yes.
that side of the building towards the back?
I'm getting that out to the street shop on Monday to get the stickers off of it, if not sooner.
Okay. Is that the one we're trading in?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Kelly, you got anything?
Nope.
Leslie?
Nope.
Rod, you got anything?
No, sir.
Rick?
No, sir.
Rose? Trace?
No.
Al?
No, sir.
Okay. Anyone wishing to address council matters that are not on the agenda tonight? All right, we'll go to new business. Item number 1 is to consider resolution hiring Charles Severs as a police reserve officer. That's you, right? Stand up and be recognized. You go by Charles or Chuck or Chuck, all right.
He does work for a judicial probation and parole office, so he does have quite an extensive background in law enforcement, so we'll get him approved tonight, hopefully, and all of his paperwork's done, and we'll get his physical done out of Great River and get him training, so it'll be a nice, he's taken over, as you can see in my memo, taken over for Cody, who was hired by Keokuk Police Department as a full-time officer, so get us back up to full staff.
Motion to approve.
Support.
So motion with support. Any discussion? Welcome.
Thank you.
Roll call.
I didn't hear who supported that, I'm sorry.
She made the motion, Rick
I did.
supported it.
Sorry.
That's okay, I just didn't.
You know how I am.
I know.
Soft voice.
Roll call.
Lees.
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Raleigh.
Aye.
Hightmeyer.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thanks for wanting to serve. And you're lucky there's no juveniles sitting up here. Sometimes there are, but. Item number 2 is the presentation of TIF report by Spear Financial. Maggie, you're up.
Evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Maggie Berger with Spear Financial. I've laid in front of you your colorful sheets. So if you remember, you have your binders at home, at your office, on your nightstand. You want to rip those pages because it's good reading. Rip those pages out and you can put in new pages in the areas. I'll quickly run through this, not to take a lot of time, but the red pages, I'll remind you, under the first tab is where we put our general obligation debt. Since I was here the last time for a TIF update, we do have the 2016 lease purchase for some general fund equipment, so we've added that on the first page. We've also then added the 2017 bonds that you sold in April, or that closed in April, sold in March. I'll remind you that we give you the 2017, we give you the amount of the issue, principal, we give you the principal and interest. We've also drawn a line under the principal maturity in 2024. That's when the bonds are callable, so you can look at that on all the other bond issues outstanding. The TIC up there in the top box is the true interest cost, or the true interest rate. So that was a very nice low 2.3071%. We then give you total principal of all the debt, total principal and interest. This is important because we do need to calculate your debt capacity on a further back page from the total principal that is outstanding. You do bring in TIF revenues for part of your debt, and we'll get to that on the yellow pages. You're also bringing in some local option sales tax, some general fund, sewer, and water. What that leads to is that big, very empty column that says 0. That's your debt service levy. So that means you do not have a debt service levy with all of the debt that you have outstanding, meaning you're not levying property taxes to pay any of that debt at this time. We go on to your orange page, and we do have an addition, kind of as Dan said, you got a lot going on. We have an addition to your orange page. The addition here this year is your 2017 sewer revenue SRF loan. This is for your wastewater treatment project. We have put this in at the $10,985,000. We know that that project is ongoing and it won't be finalized quite yet, so we are working and put in the preliminary schedule. This was the amount of the application that was sent in. It's always the hope and goal that we could get something a little less than this, but this was the amount that was approved by the SRF. It is a drawdown loan, so you will only draw what you need to draw for that. And so maybe by next year or even the following year, depending on the construction timeline, we'll be able to update this with a final number, but this is the preliminary schedule that we are working off of at this time. You also have, I'm sorry? Oh, sorry. Okay. You also have the 2008 water revenue bonds outstanding, and then we do show in those in those last basically 3 or 4 columns that you bring in water revenues to pay for those water bonds. You bring in sewer revenues to pay the sewer debt, meaning that you do not debt service levy any property taxes for the payment of these water and or sewer bonds. These are revenue bonds, and they do not count against your debt capacity because they were done as revenue bonds. We're gonna go on to your purple pages. These are your TIF rebate obligations. There are a couple of updates to this page. We did know that you had entered into agreements for both Millennium Hall and Blackhawk Tower. We knew that we were gonna start asking for those in fiscal year 2019, and it seems like it's a ways off because we're only in 2018, but those are items that are on your agenda further down tonight. And Leslie has been able to get that information from the county on those taxable valuations. So that really is the update. We knew that the information, we were using estimates because we weren't sure of the taxable valuation, but now we have some pretty great numbers as to where that taxable valuation stood as of 1/1/17. And so you will be rebating back about $10,827 on Millennium and about $60,113 per year on Blackhawk Tower. Now, these amounts ultimately could change. There is the potential that their valuation could grow. If the assessor decides that, more structures are being built or is reviewing the assessment and thinks it needs to go higher, those could go up. So if the valuation goes up, you will rebate them back accordingly to their valuation, meaning you will rebate them back a little bit more. So, but it is tied directly to the property taxes that they are paying under these new developments.
Is there an equalization order coming down, or, of?
This is what they've got. I mean, this includes any equalization
That
orders.
includes it?
Yes, it
Okay.
does.
Then we go on to our yellow pages. The yellow pages are really to tell us what part of any general obligation bonds that are outstanding are going to be paid with TIF. Now, that may be all of them, that could be part of them. It also tells us if we have any interfund loans outstanding or any other agreements. So we do pay for the 2013 and the 2017 bonds with TIF revenues. So we show both of those being brought in and transferred into the general debt service area. We also then have on page 1 a couple of internal loans or legal services loans. We go on to the second page of the yellow document, and we have a few more loans. Now, these are some sub-fund loans that you do, some interfund loans. Your finance department does a very good job of tracking annually and making sure that these are getting paid back, that you're not just entering into these types of interfund loans and then not paying them back. And so we show all of those, as well as some low to moderate income set aside on one sub-fund loan that you have for residential property. We bring in those TIF rebate agreements every year because we do have to certify that against the debt service, or against the TIF, I'm sorry. And then that big column there on the end of page 2, that is the amount that we're going to certify to the TIF district for our interfund loans, our sub-fund loans, our debt, and our rebate agreements. And so we've drawn the line to fiscal year 19 because as we get and approach December 1st of 2017, those are the certification amounts that you'll be looking at for fiscal year 19. more sets here. The general obligation debt capacity is our green pages. And if you would like to look at column number 2 and read down with me, the city of West Burlington has an assessed or a 100% value of $260,156,411. 5% of that is your debt capacity that's allowed under state law. So that's $13,007,821. From that first page, because you issued debt this year, you have $7,244,000 of debt outstanding, just general obligation principal. You're going to pay back, though, $1,034,000 of debt in this fiscal year. That leaves you at the end of the year with a debt capacity of $6,797,000. Now, we usually tell you that you probably shouldn't issue more than 80% of what your debt capacity is, meaning you're leaving some on the table in case of emergencies, the ability to go borrow money if necessary. That 20% reserve or contingency that we talked about is about $2.6 million. So if we subtract that off of our $6.7 million, we're down to remaining debt capacity of about $4,196,000 or about 32.26%. I will note that the city grew in assessed valuation at 5.123% from last year to this year. We've included a growth rate of about 2%, so you can carry that forward. That's a very good growth rate. The majority of growth rates that we've seen are somewhere in the 0 to 1% range. So 5% is a very, very healthy growth rate for West Burlington. And this does go on for a couple of pages, so you can kind of see when you run out of general obligation debt and bonds. The very last section then to the report is our blue pages. These are our TIF pages. So I'll remind you, you set up a TIF district, and there's base value in that TIF district. So that's what is there when you set up the district. Anything that grows above that base value is incremental value. And that incremental value is what we're talking about on these blue pages. So in column number 2, fiscal year 18, reading right down, you have $78,704,000 of commercial incremental value. We do roll that back to be conservative. Industrial, we're at $7,224,000. We have about $985,000 of personal property or ag land. Residential is about $47,983,000. And then we have in multi-residential about $1,403,000. I would assume that number will go up in fiscal year 19, just alone from Millennium and Blackhawk Hall. That number, because those would be deemed multi-residential. That number will go up. That gives you total TIF taxable value of $123,550,000. We take that at the TIF tax rate of $27.97, and that produces about $3,456,000 of money that would be available in your TIF district. You're using about $1,085,000 of that to service the debt that you have outstanding. And then you're using about $249,000 this year on interfund loans or sub-fund loans. You can see that in next year, fiscal year 19, we add those rebates in because those rebates start to kick back, so you're using some of that. You're leaving about $2,434,000 of money that you're not certifying or not claiming. And I'm not telling you to go claim that money. The monies that you're not claiming this year, last year, the years before, are dollars that the valuation that makes up those dollars has been rolling back into your general fund, the county's general fund, and the school district's general fund. We use this just as a tool to show you that there are dollars available that you're not using, and so hopefully that helps in conversations about TIF, that you are not utilizing all of the dollars, that you are turning valuation back over to go roll back into everything's general funds and help their budgets out. The TIF district itself grew at a rate of about 1.44%. So we've added a growth rate of about 0.75% annually. So this goes on for 2 pages as well. The bottom, I should tell you, is kind of a tool for us, that bottom area. If the city calls at any time and says, we'd like to see, we have this new commercial building that wants to go in. We're gonna build a $4 million commercial building, but we have to build a road to them. The road is, we have to build a 400-foot of road to them, or an access point. We can estimate what the debt service on the $400,000 or $500,000 may look like if you need to borrow it, or if you're gonna interfund loan it to yourself. And then we would fill in what that $4 million could produce in TIF, so that you can see that that project is either paying for itself, or that it would pay for that obligation maybe that you would have to undertake to do something like that. So we do use that bottom area with a lot of the cities that we work with as tools when things come up. So any overall questions or clear as mud?
That's a very, very good report. I look forward to it every year.
We hope that we make it.
And
I deal with this every day, but I know I don't have to deal with it every day. So we hope to make it as user-friendly as possible.
thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
All righty. Next thing is the financial audit for fiscal year 2016-2017. Kim and Tracy. Why not? You're the ones that have to check all those numbers.
Okay, so you have your audited financials in front of you. No changes in standards this year.
Well, it's hard to hear.
No changes in any standards for this year. And I think this is really the only adjustments we have were just some of the debt, right? Yeah. So basically, being cash basis, you guys will record, the net debt that you take on, but there are usually fees involved in getting new debt, for the bond accounts and stuff like that. So you kind of gross that up so you see the total debt, the expense that goes along with that. So, really that was the only change that we proposed, to the numbers that you already had from Leslie, for your internal financial statements. Of course, we have, the presentation that's required under, government, accounting standards, which that is clear as mud, as she said, it really is. But, really no changes in that from prior years either. Your standards are the same, and the presentation is the same. It's just that the balances, which are again are the same as what you are seeing from month to month, have not changed. We did have still the significant deficiency related to segregation of duties. That's not something that is new. That's just that. That, it looks a little different because basically we often follow the example of the state auditor and how they present these things, and they recommended that we kind of break the segregation of duties down so that it kind of spells out the criteria, what the expectation would be in a perfect world, the condition that's causing the deficiency, which is basically, limitations in the ability to, have as many staff as you might want to have to totally get rid of this deficiency. And so basically, we just recommend you continue to review the activities and do the best that you can to monitor it's not that we've found anything wrong, it's just that, you know, Leslie takes care of a lot, and then we've got other people, you know, doing like cash receipts listing, and then also doing bank deposits and things like that. And it's just difficult to get rid of that without hiring more people to do it. So it just doesn't always make sense. The only other thing is we did still notice that there were a couple of people, either council members or employees, who had some delinquent utility accounts. So again, delinquent utility accounts. So I don't know what to do about that, but we just pointed out to you that when we get our testing, we'll have that, so.
Fire.
Fire. I think, I don't know who they were, so I can do it.
I think that happens
It
wherever you
just,
go.
yeah, it does. We do.
And it's only been in the recent, maybe 10 years since we've seen, you know, employees having delinquent accounts or whatever. I mean, is that something you guys lobbied the legislature for to put in, or? There you go, unlobby them.
So, basically, you know, in looking through disbursements, we didn't see any problems with any disbursements. We, you know, sometimes we'll see, disbursements that are made by governmental entities that may not pass the public purpose test. We didn't see anything like that. You know, so we kind of report on everything that we look at from a statutory standpoint, and those are really, two things that we had. One thing that will be changing next year is that they're making a change, with post-employment benefits, and how they're supposed to be, measured, but you guys being a cash basis, you really won't have to, do anything different with that. You don't have to do an big actuarial report like the full accrual, you know, like Burlington would have to do. Other than that, there's not really anything new coming down the pipe that you should have to worry about us having to deal with for you.
Any questions?
I'll try to take a public speaking class. Got it down.
Yeah, they do. Need a motion to approve?
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Waterman,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Raleigh,
Aye.
Hightmeyer,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Motion carried. Thanks, Kim and Tracy.
Thank you. Enjoy your birthday, guys.
All right, item number 4 is consider resolution authorizing the annual appropriation to the Greater Burlington Partnership, in the amount of $5,000.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Crowner,
Aye.
Raleigh,
Aye.
Hightmeyer,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 5 and 6 are pretty much one, so I'll entertain resolution authorizing the annual appropriations to Blackhawk Tower and a resolution authorizing the annual appropriation to Millennium Hall.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion?
Let's just discuss this just for a second, just to clear up, because some numbers were shared here by our TIF lady. These are taxes, if I'm understanding this correctly. These are taxes those entities have paid into the county, and we're refunding those back. Is that true or not?
They will pay next year, because we've certified it by December 1st. We have to do the annual appropriation. They will pay it for next year, but we have to have it certified
And so when are we paying them?
after we receive the funds.
Okay.
It'll be the 18,
You're just asking us to approve it now?
because we have to do an annual appropriation and certify it to the auditor by December 1st to do for next year.
Okay. All right.
But we do not pay it, and,
We don't pay it until we get it from them.
yeah.
I guess that's my point.
They have to pay it before we.
Okay, because she floated around some 018 and 019 dates, and it,
That's what that is.
Yeah, this is for
Yeah.
18-19 fiscal year.
Okay,
But we have
alright.
to certify it by December 1st, 2017.
okay,
And you'll see that every year because it's an annual appropriation.
okay, no problem. Thanks.
Roll call.
Raleigh.
Aye.
Knightmeyer.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 7 is to consider TIF certification for fiscal year 18-19, and are recommending to certify about 1.3 million in TIF.
Motion approved.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion?
One quick thing, sorry. Dan, I guess my problem with this system of how we're doing this now, and we didn't used to it this way, but we have several years now, is you just ask us tonight if we had any idea of any other projects we wanted to do. But yet, in the same meeting, we're already saying this is the only TIF we're gonna use. So if we had another project we wanted to do, we just eliminated ourselves of being able to use TIF for that.
Well,
Is
no.
that true or not?
No, because we have to have it by December 1st. The state has that rule.
Right.
We have to decide by December 1st
Okay.
how much and we have to have the debt created by then. So what we do, if something comes up, is we do one of these internal loans and then certify it the next year.
Next year, okay.
I mean, we
Well,
have-
it just hit me because you asked us that question a little while ago. You said something about, is there any other projects? And you're right, we're kind of full of projects right now, and I agree. But it just is like, well, yeah, what if we did have one? Are we tying our hands by doing this?
No, we aren't, because there's workarounds to do that with internal loan if we have it, or we can structure the debt if something comes up next year and not have the actual debt payments until the following year. So we could, if it was a big project and we didn't have enough money internally to borrow it, we would structure the payment so we didn't owe a payment for the next year so we could get it certified.
All right, thanks.
This pretty much covers the debt that's already
Yeah, have
incurred.
to have the debt
Yeah.
existing and it has to be certified by December 1st.
Okay. Roll call?
Knightmeyer.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Raleigh.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 8 is to consider change order number 2 for the wastewater treatment plant improvements in the amount of $132,459.10. Lindsay's here.
So remember the last time I was here and I had that negative $500,000 change order? I just wanted to make sure everybody remembered that. Okay.
You're smiling
This one is a combination of a couple different things. One of it, and I didn't even print off my own memo, so I don't remember what order I went on your memo, but part of it is the need for using high temperature gaskets on the blower discharge piping. Keokuk contractors brought it to our attention that we did have high temperature gaskets on a lot of the piping, but it wasn't something they had planned to provide for the majority of the buried pipe work, and they pointed out that this has been a problem on other projects that they had been in, so they wanted to make sure that the West Burlington was aware that that was a far superior product that you should invest in, that we should all invest in on this project, to make sure it's got a long-term, good type air flow to both Aeromod plants when this project's completed. The bulk of this change order is also for, I don't know how many of you are aware that there were some emergency pipe fixes that needed to happen out there. The existing pipe that goes from the splitter structure now to the Aeromod existing, it just started gushing. It's been determined that it's massive corrosion on that pipe, that it was good timing because we had contractors on site that could go out there and perform immediate repairs. Otherwise, the plant was being bypassed to the lagoons during that time, which means it's starving the Aeromod of getting the fresh flow of wastewater that it needs to perform. As soon as that repair was completed and it was brought back online, a second hole was formed right away, so they repaired that as well. While this was going on, we determined that that whole section should be replaced. It's only 20-year-old pipe from the last project, but there must be something to do with the fact that it's not full all the time, that it's getting some significant corrosion in the upper half of the pipe. And if you look at it out there, it's just eaten away. It should have lasted much longer than that. And so we never.
Did it.
You saw it?
Hunt did it.
Hans did it. Sorry, Hans. And so we're just gonna go ahead and replace that whole section. It's holding together now, but we've asked the contractor to prepare, prices just to replace the whole section with, a thick walled plastic pipe, so something that will actually sustain that long-term flow, because it probably will still continue to have the corrosive gases in it, since it's not a pipe under pressure, it's just a gravity main. So there's some emergency repairs in there that were done, and then the entire pipe replacement is in there as well.
And Dave agrees with all this?
He didn't know anything about this. He happened to just, he didn't even know I was coming tonight. He asked me yesterday, he said, are you gonna go to West Burlington? I'm like, yes, do you need a ride? I knew he wanted to come down here and check it out, so. I'm so,
need a ride home.
I'm making a run for it. I don't think he can keep up with me.
It's kinda like, holy crap, isn't it? Oh. Suppose we're better off to replace the whole pipe is to get it all
See
put
it, Randy?
together and.
Yeah.
Yeah, they fix it, yeah.
It was quite the gusher. I mean, you should see the pipe.
And I
24
think,
inches.
like I said in my memo, this is something that was gonna crop up anyway at some
was-
point. We'd be spending the money.
It was perfect timing to have contractors already on site when it happened too. I mean, we were gonna hire Keokuk to probably come fix it. They were already there to see it and fix it then.
It's fixed, right?
It's Band-Aided. It's not all replaced. It's just hope it sticks together, sticks it out for a little while longer until they get it all replaced.
Till they get it replaced? Well, they might as well replace it. And that still leaves us a little money ahead.
Yeah, I'll stop trying to use that money. I'm sorry. Try to give that back and I'm gonna leave it. but-
So the total change order is $132,459.10.
Yep.
So moved.
Support.
Motion with support. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Raleigh.
Aye.
Hightmeyer.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Motion carried. Now, item number 9 is to consider payment to Snyder and Associates for engineering services related to the wastewater treatment plant lift station improvement in the amount of $24,337.23.
Motion to approve.
Support. Motion with support. Any discussion? Will give us a little update how things are going?
Sure. They're moving along quite quickly, I think. I mean, a lot of the progress in the future is gonna be based on getting the new Aeromod online so they can really break down and do the work on any of the existing facilities that need upgrading. They've got at least half that tank, I would say almost half that tank poured in place. There'll be a lot of work left to do on that. They do have both buildings up and roofed, so that I'm sure they're working heavily towards getting them enclosed for winter work. They've been doing a really good job of that. A lot of concrete coming in every day, or every week, I mean, so lots to see going on down there. Lots of subcontractors running around all the time. If you want something to do during the day.
Well, I was out
Lots to
there
see down
about,
there.
I was out there about a week and a half ago, and Randy kind of took me around. It's impressive. I mean, looks totally different from what is out there, or was gonna be out there. So if any of you get a chance, have Randy take you around. I really don't trust myself going out there and getting run over by a
Yeah, make sure you
contractor.
take your hard hat and high vis and check in at the job trailer. And I'm sure somebody there could help you out if you wanted to.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a lot going on.
Checks.
Yeah, this is just an automatic check signer. I don't even have to physically do it. All right, thank you.
You can't go off too easy on me though. Dave's here. He's gonna think that you guys like me more.
Roll call.
Hightmeyer.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Raleigh.
Motion carried. Item number 10 is consider payment of Mike Nelson's Concrete for work completed on Broadway Street, amount of $76,949.59.
Motion approved.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Raleigh,
Aye.
Whitemeyer.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 11 is consider payment to Hickey Contracting for work completed on the Ruthella Kimberly Melville Repair Project in the amount of $12,800.61.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Waterman,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Raleigh,
Aye.
Whitemeyer.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Motion carried. Now we'll go to page 2. Item number 12 is to consider change order number 1 for the Ruthella Kimberly Melville Repair Project to include repairs to the intersection of Prairie and Meadow Street. And I'm sorry, I don't have the number here in front of me. Look at it here.
$4,993.25.
Yeah, it is, yep, you're right. $24,993.25. It's a pleasure here.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Crowner,
Aye.
Raleigh,
Aye.
Whitemeyer,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 13.
Clear. It's gonna be for the intersection of Prairie and Meadow.
What's that?
Yes. The
Yeah.
curve, the curve on Prairie and Meadow.
Yeah.
Because I see that here, but I don't see that in your memo, Dan. I just have for like Kimberly and Ruth Allen.
If the plan sheet attached to that change order,
Here's
there
a,
should be a plan sheet attached to the change order that shows the
keep going down,
corner of Prairie and Meadow.
go down one more page, I think, Trace.
Yeah, I have it that way because that's the original project.
I know.
This is a change order to that project to add this other project. And there's a diagram a couple pages in, what they're gonna do.
Got it?
Are we looking at change order number 1 dated 10/18 is 2017? Is that right?
It's change order number 1.
Yes,
Yep.
Okay.
we'll just add Prairie and Meadow onto that
Because I don't see
project
that
name.
here on this change order either. I just see Kimberly, Ruth Allen, Melville, and then I have all of this square foots and stuff, but there's nothing on there that indicates that it's Prairie and Meadow Street.
Yeah.
The diagram on the
If
next
you go
page
down
does, but
to-
we'll add that to the text.
We can
but-
add it to
That'd
the
be
test,
nice.
but under justification for that change order, right underneath the total amount, it says justification. It says owner has requested the reconstruction of intersection of Prairie Street and Meadow Street to be added to this project.
Right, well, somewhere, I want it further up, somewhere.
Yeah, at the top, it just refers to the original project name, but I'll probably just add those two streets onto the name somehow to, so it's clear when we are doing paving.
That would be awesome. I don't look good in orange.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
I think I have a roll call.
We already did.
Did? Okay. Item number 13 then is consider payment to French Reniger Associates for engineering service related to the following projects. Broadway Street Reconstruction Project, amount $11,866.61. Agency Gear Resurfacing Project, amount of $5,440. And curb repairs on Ruthella, Kimberly, and Melville, $550.
Motion approved.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion?
Wanna have our engineer say anything? Randy covered almost all of his work for him.
Steve had made some comments earlier too. Roll call.
Raleigh.
Aye.
Pipemeyer.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 14 is consider payment of Dorsey and Whitney for legal services related to the 2017 UR Plan Amendment and General Obligation Bond issue in the amount of $17,000.
Motion approved.
Or,
Motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Pipemeyer.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Raleigh.
aye.
Motion carried. Item number 15 is consider quote from Dave Basine Electric for LED sign lighting. The amount of $10,855.38.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion?
Well, I have one. Dave Bazine, he's got solar lights on his bid. So is it solar lights or LED lights?
They're solar LED lights.
Yes, both. When we had to relocate our sign over at GE
Yeah.
on that agency project, we had to move the electric that supplied the power to those lights over there. And I don't know what we pay per month on those lights, but the minimum fee, I think is about, I don't know, was it $30 a month or something like that? And Dan and I talked about it, that was maybe the time that we should think about going solar so we don't have that reoccurring cost. So that's why we decided to go with the solar and the LEDs over there. And then also at the Public Works building also, so we're trying to save some costs down the line.
And at some point, will we look at doing our other couple signs?
Yes.
Do we not have lighting on the Public Works sign yet?
No.
Barely had a sign.
Roll call.
Can't remember where it was. Lees.
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Raleigh.
Aye.
Pipemeyer.
Aye.
Motion carried. Old business. Anybody have any old business? Anyone wishing to address the council matters we did discuss and didn't discuss tonight? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.